Okay, guys, I'm surprised that you voted yes for this video. I just thought the thumbnail was preposterous. And from the quartering, I'm sorry. The Last of Us cast lash out at viewers and laugh about tricking them into watching woke propaganda. I I don't know how I want to do this through Internet Explorer, the other Chrome. Sorry. Anyway, I don't know how you have this perspective in your life. It's not that deep, but it's clear that Jeremy puts a lot of effort into his thumbnails. Certainly more than his thumbnails and his critical thinking skills. But oh my god, like, bro, could you imagine thinking that it's propaganda? Like, it's not that deep. It's just some gay people. Like, it's not that deep. Who cares? You know, anyway, let's just watch this. Let's watch this.
So, who's the girl? Girl you're singing about?
There's no girl.
There's no girl. It's a guy. I love men. I love men.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from TheQuartering.
By the way, that if you watch the show, that you know, spoiler alert, but that episode was incredible. That was a really good episode. It just completely centralized around them and their relationship, and it was really good. It was just a good episode.
And if you haven't been watching The Last of Us on HBO, apparently you're in a minority, as it's one of the best performing shows.
Yep. You're basically, if you haven't been watching Last of Us, you've been systemic racism because you're a minority, guys.
In HBO streaming history, and I think you can pretty much deduce why that is that way, is because it had a huge built-in audience, and
yeah, that's definitely a factor. But also, it was just good. I never played the Last of Us games. Wow, I look so big when I lean back. That's like a garbage bag putting on the ground. I never played the Last of Us, and the show is good. It was really good. It was really well done. It was short. I would say it's a little anticlimactic, mostly because it follows the game pretty well. So if you know the ending of the game, you know. Sorry for the spoiler alert. But yeah, it was just a good show overall. I mean, it hits all the markers. Well written, zombies. You know, you have the Obi-Wan Kenobi character. You know, the supervisor. You know what I'm trying to say. The mentor character. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
The show itself, in my opinion, is pretty mid.
Okay.
If I was like a huge Last of Us fan, I'd be watching it. And this is a game that tens of millions of people have played. So you're not talking about a small audience. This is a huge audience of super dedicated fans. However, they are also...
I like how he just needs to let you know that the show sucks. And the only reason people are watching it is because they have super dedicated fans from the game. Which is probably true, I guess. But like, it was good by itself. It was a very good piece of media.
So using the show to ramp up the wokeness a little bit.
Swapping
race-swapping characters and making an entire episode about a dude-on-dude love story that felt like wasted time given so few episodes.
It was done well, so I don't care. I don't care about filler in shows as long as it's entertaining.
And so much going on. But as we end season 1 and as the show has been successful, a lot of the cast seems to be happy to kind of poke the bear a little bit.
The Last of Us director admits to tricking audiences to put... Like, this is clearly written by a conservative. What does that mean? Tricking people into watching gay propaganda. What does that mean?
Here we have a CNN article from today saying The Last of Us actress Storm Reed has advice for homophobic viewers of the show.
Oh, it's probably just to not be homophobic because there was a gay kiss, which, by the way, it was cringe because you could just see it a mile away. You're like, okay, here we go. We're gonna do like a gay interracial kiss, and like, but I feel like that's the most normal reactions. Go, okay, let's get it over with. You know, and it's fine. The show overall is pretty good. Sometimes they fill stuff a little too much, but it's not woke propaganda. You know. The show is fine. Who cares? Like, it's just, who gives a shit?
What? Reed Storm shared her thoughts about one thing that has raised ire among the viewers of the HBO drama. The depiction of LGBTQ relationships, which is, of course, a big deal to the director for some reason. The 19-year-old star talked to EW about the homophobic backlash following episode 3, which was really the biggest crime was that it was boring.
No, it was a really good episode. I guess it was. I thought it was episode 2, but episode 3 is the episode where Ron from the Pawnee show You know what I'm talking about. The guy from the beginning of this episode. It goes through like a pretty long gay relationship. It does a really good amount of story building. It wasn't boring at all. It was really entertaining. It was a risky episode, which is what I respect about it more than anything else. And what makes it risky isn't because they're gay. That doesn't matter. It's because you follow these two characters and mute the video for a moment, if you will. Spoiler alert. That end up just dying at the end of the episode anyway. These two individuals, it's pure just story building to have like a little bit of backstory, fill a little bit of a hole, and kind of go through a different perspective of different people living in that atmosphere to show how they acquired all their resources. It was fun. And apparently he was also gay in the game, so who gives a shit? It was also a really good way to show a very masculine gay guy. Because the only thing that he was not considered traditionally masculine about him is that he liked wiener. It was like a bridge. I think it's called like a bridge, whatever. Bridge traits, where it's like he's a masculine man, but he just happens to be gay. He's an identifiable character other than the gay stuff. And it was fine. It was good. It was cool. It was a good episode. And again, it was a little risky because those characters don't last. It was good story building. I liked it. You know, especially the kissing. No, but it was very sad at the end. So,
they implied that those characters were gay in the video game. In the movie, this is like a perfect example. Like
it was implied they were gay. I mean, if there was two men living on a compound by themselves, it's kind of gay. But okay,
imply it in the video game, but in the television show, they come right out and say it and give you a full episode of it, which is really, it's just like a gay romance for a full hour. Now, if you're into that,
oh no.
More power to you. You probably really like that episode, but I found it to be extremely boring.
You don't have to be. This is the problem. Is like you don't have to be into the gay romance to like the episode. The episode is fine, regardless of them being gay. Like it's not really about them being gay. It's just about them having their relationship is part of the episode, but it's more just like character building, and it shows that there are men with a little bit of emotions. This is a nice change of pace. But okay,
Bill.
Oh, it's only implied in the game. Okay, sure.
Is a character that, he's presented as a supreme alpha planner, prepper, all this stuff.
He's a conservative. He's a fucking Trumpster. Let's be real. The guy's a Trumpster in the show. He's insane.
And then for some reason, he stands out in the middle of the street and absorbs a bullet, something he would never do. He's also apparently out in the middle of the street with one of his worst weapons from his arsenal. Again, something that made zero sense. But these are the things I remember from that episode. Not that, Nick Offerman, was dating married to a dude. I didn't really care about that.
Oh, so then you're proving your points wrong then. That who cares if they're gay?
I just wanted something to actually happen in the episode.
There was gay porn magazines all around Bill's place, so it was confirmed. Based.
But if you criticize that, they called you homophobic.
No, they didn't.
Like Bella said when episode 3 came out, if you don't like it, don't watch. Yikes.
Why is that a yikes? Yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch.
Although they are currently holding the W because a lot of people are, watching the show. So I think that's pretty based, but or pretty less. It's not very risky when you've seen the viewership.
It's pretty based. Wait, no, I said the wrong thing. It's actually bad. It's not very risky.
Numbers
based,
but I think that's fine advice. I think we saw this with Genderfield 5 or Battlefield 5 when they said if you don't like it, don't buy it, and then nobody bought it. People are watching the show because they love The Last of Us, and I know what that's like.
Well,
when you're like a real big fan of the franchise. Like I probably gave Ghostbusters Afterlife a little too much credit, and I even said that in my review. I'm like, the movie's a hard 6, probably, but because of the way they handled the original Ghostbusters, especially those that had passed away,
wow,
it felt like
sounds like you're projecting on this, Jeremy. Okay, I think Last of Us was probably better than Ghostbusters Penis. Sorry,
gave it an 8, but I knew that was an inflated score. Sonic, if you're a big Sonic fan, the Sonic movies are pretty good. Objectively, they're good. But if you're a Sonic fan, you'll think it's a little bit better than it probably is. And I think that's totally fine. People have their biases. But when you're talking about, there's really no penalty for this kind of stuff anymore. You can come right out, blast the fans.
Yeah, what is telling somebody if they don't like something not to engage with it isn't really blasting the fans. It's just telling you to go fuck yourself if you don't. It's not even saying it that intensely. Why watch something you don't like? People are like complaining about stuff that they don't even care about. That's what it really comes down to. Like, if you're so offended by two dudes kissing in the fucking lips, then don't watch it. Like, it's not that. It's like, that'd be like if somebody made a gay porno and they're like, hey, and I was like, I don't like this. And like, well, don't watch it. Like, oh my God, why are you attacking me as a fan? Well, a fan of what? fan of dick? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. We're telling important stories. We're telling stories about people's experiences. Okay, cool.
And this article says The Last of Us director admits to tricking audiences to push gay storylines and propaganda.
Tricking what?
I mean, we knew about Frank anyway. I don't think anyone was surprised by that. The people that didn't know about the video game probably would have been figuring, well, it's on HBO, so there's got to be some sweet dude-on-dude action.
Sure.
True. And then you have, so I don't know. You know, in an interview, though, with Inverse.
What do you mean you don't know? Nobody tricked anybody into it being gay. Like, I don't even know how you trick somebody into looking at gay propaganda. It doesn't make sense.
Regarding the third episode of the series, Hoare was asked how he approached directing actors Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett through the episode. As part of his answer, he stated, quote, "Sometimes you have to trick the rest of the world into watching these things before they're like, oh my God, it was two guys. I just realized. I think then they might understand it's all real and it's just the same love."
I don't know how people get tricked, but okay. Sure.
So you could read
I guess you get tricked if you watch the show and you saw the beginning of their character building, and for the first episode, the first half, you didn't realize that they were gay. And you're like, oh no, I got tricked into watching a gay person and I didn't die. I didn't think my face didn't melt. It's okay, we survived. I don't know. It's not really much of a trick. You could turn it off if you're that offended. It's not much of a trick. But it's pretty clear from the beginning that they're going to love sausages. It's just the tone is set pretty well. So you'd have to be pretty emotionally unintelligent to not be able to figure that out within like the first 10 minutes. And now I'm somebody who didn't play the game, so...
really charitably and say, oh, he's just saying that he really wanted it to be organic and then we didn't want it to be, too forced.
Okay.
Or you could read it like many of us do and say...
like the wrong way. You don't read it like this. It's pretty clear that you read it as a normal person and you're just trying to jerk off your conservative audience here.
Interesting. You're literally saying, yeah, we think about...
I did trick my coworker into looking at Bailey J. That's true. I did. I sent him a picture of it without the peepee, and then I was like, "Will you like this?" And he's like, "Yeah, she's hot." And then I showed him the peepee, and he's like, "Ah, you got me." He said, "Oh, you got me." True. I tricked somebody into looking at trans propaganda, guys.
These things beforehand, and then we cram it into the show, and we try to trick you to watching it.
Okay, whatever. It was a good episode.
I look at this.
I don't care how much wokeness you want to put into a piece of media, as long as it's good. That's where I come from. I'm tired of them overloading stuff with like BS. Like, I don't even know why I'm using wokeness because it's a dumb word now, but with like wokeness and then the show sucking. That's what I care about. Like making Tinkerbell black. Like, I don't care. Make her black. Make Ariel black. Make everybody black. Okay. Make the fucking slave masters black. I don't care as long as the show is good. I don't care. Or the movie's good. I don't care. And the problem is I feel like things with like Star Wars with the sequel trilogy, that the 7 was okay, but they put a bunch of like people, like different people in there, which is fine, but then they make the show suck. Well, the movies suck. They make it and it's like, isn't that a disservice to those people? If you're trying to push like, oh, we want more female leads, which makes sense, and then you just write it like a fucking moron. That's my bigger issue, is don't be lazy and just add like don't just add diversity into media and then lazily write a shit script. Like, do the script service, do it justice, do a good writing, make it good. That's all I want. Make it good. Stop using people of color and gay dudes and gay people and stuff as just a way to draw more attention to your piece of media and then do a very lazy job at writing it. That's my problem. So it was good. So I don't care. I don't care. The overall package was really good. The episode was really good. Nick Offerman is awesome. I like him a lot. So who cares?
See, because Hollywood, extremely uncharitably, I think that this is like an open admission that like, well, we're more interested in tricking the audience into propaganda than putting together a good show. Now, I don't think you can objectively say that The Last of Us on HBO is a bad television show. I don't think that would be fair. I mean, I guess if zombies aren't your thing, or
if zombies aren't your thing, then why are you watching a zombie show?
Don't know. I think that it's a fine television show, and if you're already...
No, the prequels don't have the same or even more flaws than the sequels. The prequels could have been done a lot better, but the reality is that the stories made a lot more sense. It was just the execution that was poor. There was absolutely no story structure in the sequel trilogies. The 7th episode was solid, and then they destroyed every single storyline in the 8th one. And then the 9th one is basically trying to retell a story from that would have spanned across 3 episodes because they had nothing left. It is not the same. Don't fucking trick yourself into thinking that the prequel and the sequel trilogies are equal, because they're not. There's a fundamental amount of laziness. Again, 7 was a solid show, and then they killed every storyline. They killed Finn's storyline, Rey's storyline. They killed everybody's motivations, all their storylines, and then episode 9 was just like a shit show clusterfuck. It's not the same thing. The prequel trilogies had a solid story. The execution was a little cringe, especially the part about I don't like the sand.
$4.99.
So,
are you scared of the 6 paths of pain?
Yes, very scared of the 6 paths of pain. I'm just letting you know. That's what it comes down to. That's just a fact. You could sit here, shit, come and cry and piss, but it's just the reality of the situation. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. You can cope and seethe as much as you want, but the sequel trilogy, they killed it after episode 7. It's like a fact. We already know this. That's it. Sorry, cuck.
Paying for HBO Max, I think there are worse things that you could watch. But, again, my biggest gripe about episode 3 was not that, there was 2 men who were in a relationship. It was that how poorly and how much time they wasted on it. I mean, it was clearly like award season bait. It's like, they could have had the relationship, and maybe they could have spent more time fighting zombies. They had all those traps set up, right? All these.
It wasn't like action intensive enough for you. Like,
intricate traps that you saw for like a split second.
Okay, who cares?
I think that that would have been better. Then they could have then just focusing on them lovemaking and all this boring day-to-day relationship stuff that you would never see in a modern show between a man and a woman.
What we see it all the time in romantic stuff all the time, and it wasn't even that romantic. But okay. Whatever. You never see character building. You never see relationship building. You never see a guy and a girl go on dates or talk about life or kiss in a movie. Guys, you never see this.
I think that's pretty obvious. The fact that they were both, white men is even more shocking. But it's not the same love. What the show and the director are trying to depict as love is anything but. What they're depicting is sin and lust. Now, if you are...
And it says sodomy as well. Read it. It's because it's a gay relationship written by a conservative article. Of course, they're going to say that it's all bad.
Religious person, I could see taking this position. I am not...
Yeah, because you're ignorant. I don't know what you want me to tell you. There's no way that you could operate in this and watch this and go, this is a purely lustful relationship. This relationship spans 10 or 20 years, and the two of them basically get married. They live together. They grow old together. One of them gets some kind of degenerative disease or some shit. I forget the specifics. And then they die together. It's not just gay lust. There's almost no. There's I don't even think you even see sex. They insinuate they have sex one time. They mostly just eat together and pair wines and go out shopping and stuff together. There's conversations about the household. The fucking one gay guy takes a more feminine role and wants to kind of decorate the house and the neighborhood a little better, while the other guy's who cares? It's a waste of infrastructure and resources. It's a normal conversation that would happen. It's not that deep.
Anti-religious. I'm very open with my audience that I don't have super strong religious convictions, but I also totally respect those that do. But this article talks about obviously what you might read in the Bible and things of that nature.
Yeah. Cringeness.
Actress Bella Ramsey.
My favorite part of the Bible was when they said it's Bible time, and then somebody Bibled them. No, my favorite part of the Bible is when there was you're allowed to have slaves, and you could beat the fuck out of them as long as they don't die. If they die after 2 days, it's okay, but you could beat them. That's my favorite part of the Bible. And so I think that the greatest sin is gay people kissing and loving each other, not the justification of slavery. Or ownership of your wife. That stuff is whatever. Who really cares? But the real sin is two gay people loving each other. That sounds exactly like what a God would say. Is that he's just, it's not possible that we're playing telephone tag with God's actual words and wisdom. It's more possible that there was the Bible was written in a way that justifies slavery and ownership of women. And organized religion has been used to condone molesting of children, and then instead of punishing these priests, they just move them to a new place to molest more children. We're really focusing on our priorities here, guys. We're focusing on I'm shitting, farting, coming, pissing, and pooping. If I was a religious person, of course that would be my justification. And then, of course, to that rant that I had, my response would be you just don't understand the context. You don't understand the context of slavery. Fuck, I don't. Holy shit. There's only one time that slavery is justified. And that's when we're doing CNC in the bedroom.
Revealed that the show would continue to push sin as a normal behavior. She told GQ, quote, I know some people will think what they want to think, but they're going to have to get used to it. If you don't want to watch a show because it has gay storylines, because it has a trans character, that's on you and you're missing out.
True. What they're saying is grow up. That's life. That's the most mature response ever. Yeah, listen, you're going to have to get used to this shit because there are trans people and gay people that exist, and we're going to put them more in media. Sometimes it can get a little cringe, I admittedly so, but like fundamentally, who cares? And if you don't like it, then you're going to be a on the show, and you're going to be miserable. So
it isn't going to make me afraid. I think it comes from a place of defiance. Yeah, really bold. It's like coming out in Hollywood as gay in 2023. Boring.
Yeah, so base, boring.
It's not heroic or bold. Now that's why all these other genders are coming out now. Because they couldn't get the same.
Yeah, well, we got, see, it's time for the expansion pack. I mean, how long can we just have 2 fucking genders for? You need to release an expansion pack. You need to broaden our horizons here. Okay, WoW's had like 10 expansions, and you don't expect to have at least 1 gay expansion, 1 trans expansion. Oh, fuck. When non-binary came out, you guys were complaining about the series already. All right? Now that Deerkin's out, frankly, I'm not a big fan of the Deerkin expansion pack. Not a big fan of that one. Non-binary one was all right. Okay with that. But how long could you have this out without like an expansion pack? Come on, guys.
Clout. Her fellow actress Storm Reed also recently told Variety, I think Bella put it perfectly a couple weeks ago, if you don't like it, don't watch. There's so many other things to worry about in the world.
True.
I think being concerned.
True. Let's be honest, conservatives. All you guys care about is fucking gay people. Is gay bad? Love Putin. That's it. That's the entire Republican platform. And I'm going to say it every time we talk about this. It's not like you guys are like, hey, I have issues with the LGBTQ community, but also I have an issue with healthcare. I have an issue with our energy costs and crisis. I have an issue with guns. I have an issue with this. No, it's just gay people. It's not like you have, there's no horizons to be broadened. You guys are just you guys are just obsessed with gay people. You have nothing, there's nothing else on the docket except for that. If you had more to do, I'd be like, oh, maybe that's more reasonable. It's 100% that, and for some reason jerking off Putin and Russia, despite the fact that they're antithetical to like our way of life, because they're not even a fucking democracy. So, weird Republican focus. Like, this stuff doesn't really matter. It's silly goosery. There's stuff that actually does. And again, if you were coming to the table with more, but all you do is know every single policy that's presented. And like, yeah, Democrats suck, but it's because the opposition does nothing. So all they have to do is a bare minimum. So.
Man bites dog who bit a man super chatted $1.99. Have you reacted to the Sneeko and Aiden Ross vid?
Come on, dude. Why do you want me to watch more fucking Sneeko, dude? Come on.
About who people love is just absurd to me. I just don't. I will never understand it. I don't get it. She added. Look, okay. I actually agree with that statement.
What's that?
I think that I am not concerned that there are gay people in the movie. I mean, I think
that's all you're concerned with. That's why you made the video.
That's a straw man that the left presents.
You literally have the video. The title of your video is that The Last of Us lash out at viewers and tricking them to watching woke propaganda. You do care. It's just the whole video is about how gay stuff is bad.
When people talk about this stuff,
I'm just teasing you, brother. I love you. Wow.
They're like, oh, you just don't like. I don't have any problem with it.
Yes,
I think it's like when they come out and tell you, like, hey, it's part of our plan to Trojan horse it in here.
Stop. He made like a silly joking comment about getting people to watch it. Shut up.
That kind of
grooming
just off because
grooming. Let's use every buzzword in the game, baby.
This is nuts.
Use them all.
Like they're just come out and say, oh, well, hey, and then if you don't like it, don't watch it. Well, I'm not watching it.
You said that you watched it already, so what are you talking about? You said it was boring.
I watched the first couple episodes, and it just didn't hit me.
Oh, well, you watched the first few, apparently, because it's episode 3.
I think for me, the part of it was just picking up momentum, and then you get episode 3, which is a 1-hour-long love story.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That was like, they're having tea and crumpets in their yard. Like, I just don't care about any of that. Yeah. And if you look,
because you're a real man.
Really, some people do. People are watching it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like nobody's watching the show. You can see here in the comments, it was handled the same in the game. Well, that's actually just not true. All right. No, it wasn't. Frank was dead in the game. That's right. It was implied that he was gay as the player had to figure it out in the show. I'm Bill and I'm gay. It's because, it's all about kind of putting forth this message, forcing it on people. If the show has an audience, they probably haven't been tricked, but rather agree with everything Peter Hoare is saying. The rest of us don't have to watch, and without an audience, it will go the way of so many other shows to substitute representation for good writing.
Well, the writing was good, so.
See, this Corey agrees with me. My issue is there was no reason to make this a full episode. I think they probably did it, to generate this buzz. But I mean, look, you can't deny it. You know,
it was a good episode.
Do you see here? Streaming numbers beat HBO record. There's going to be a season 2. I don't really care for a lot of the characters in this show. Why? But again, I'm not here to pretend that it's objectively bad. But I do think that it's a little creepy that they're going to say, "Oh, well,
it's creepy. What?
Really got to push this or that."
Okay.
I don't think that's part of good storytelling. Okay. And I think it's a little nefarious and standard woke fare. But this is what you get
grooming.
from mainstream.
I think it's grooming, guys.
Hollywood in 2023. So collect
I'm
those VHSs and get some old school VCRs. Get a couple of them. You'll be set for life. Hope you enjoyed this video.
What the fuck are you talking about?
If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. We'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Well, that was just the biggest cope I've ever watched in my life. Okay. You guys should have voted no to that, you pieces of shit.